back to today's recap. Today is Saturday the 18th, but we are going to be recapping yesterday's trade from the 17th. So before we get into it, everything you see on this channel is for educational, informational purposes only. Myself and the Blueprint do not provide any financial advice. Hello, myself. Do not provide any investment advice, trading recommendations of any kind, or trading involves significant risk. You could lose more than you invest. Always do your own research before getting into the market. Consult a licensed financial professional before making any trading decisions or investment advice. Let's get straight into it. I still haven't got my Loom up and working functionally, so we're just going to have to do it with the screen recording for now. You can wait to see my beautiful face a little bit later. So these were a few of the trade ideas I had coming into the session. So basically, let me give you a basic overview of what I was trying to see. So what I can see was I actually wasn't going to trade until we got a decent push out of Asia. Because you can see we created a decent range high and low, and then we could have potentially AMD'd. As you can see, I got my Asia lows marked out, but we never hit, so we can delete that. So that's fine. So let's see what we could have gotten into the session. So coming into it, I wanted to see a break above Asia session, which we eventually got. You can see that that's not the cleanest break, right? Even I'm gonna stick to the 1 minute for now. Where is it? Yeah, you can see that this wasn't the cleanest break above. So this wasn't the cleanest break above, because you can see it ended on a wick, and we could have potentially even just turned around from there, because you can see the large impulsive move coming down. So this trade here, it's a very, very in and out quick scalp. I didn't even take this trade. I forward tested this area here because my rules always dictate break above session high followed by another. So this is my high or low. So H/L. So break above session high or low followed by another break of structure. So you can see that this wasn't even a break of structure here because it ends on a wick. But then you can see this was a break. So that's 1 and that's 2. So after we got this second break over here, then I would have been looking for entries. This was a forward test. I didn't actually get into that. So let's hide this. So now coming into that, I'm actually going to rewind this just a teeny bit. So I've also been focusing on taking A+ setups only. I don't necessarily want to be taking anything that's a little bit less. So as you can see, if you wanted to take a continuation play, we very much could have. So realistically, for us to take a continuation play, we only really needed this to be, we only really needed an area of interest to get tapped into, which we certainly did. We got this 1 minute gap in here, and then we also got a tiny test of this 1 minute order block over here too. So realistically, if I wanted to take the continuations, I could have just taken this, protected the impulse, because this is my impulse leg and this is my correctional leg. So this is definitely something I could have taken, but I decided not to, because I'm focusing on taking things only from higher time frame areas of interest. So let's play this out a bit. I'm just going to put this on a 3 minutes. So you can see that this literally almost taps us out. And then you can see we tap into another 15-minute area here. So getting into something here would have been very good. I actually did miss an entry, which would have worked out perfectly for me. So this was the actual entry, right? So let me kind of close this. This was the actual entry. So you can see that we've got a break of structure here. Oh, technically this would have been internal, so I wouldn't have taken this anyway. So technically our last break of structure was right here. And then you can see protected low got taken because the lowest area between here and here is here. So you can see our protected low got taken. So realistically, for me to need to enter anything in here, I would have needed to wait for this high to break. We can see it got swept. We came all the way back down. Since I'm long, I'm only going to really want to take this long. Like, I'm not really going to want to do anything else. I'm not going to want to long around here. I'm going to wait for the externals to come through. And we had clear, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but we have clear draws on liquidity for previous New York highs. And also in this, we tapped this 15-minute gap. So let's see what we can get out of it. We broke above. Cool. So I wasn't really getting anything in here just yet, right? You can see that this was kind of doing its thing here, kind of doing its thing. And then I actually entered off this 1 minute gap in here. There's a teeny bit of an internal gap. This was the actual trade I entered in on, because my higher time frame area of interest was this tiny wick right here on this 15-minute gap. I know my exact issue with this trade as well, which I will highlight in just a second. So let me kind of get into it now. So I had my entry here. I can see that momentum was slowing down a tiny bit. So realistically, I should have protected a little bit larger of an area here, or even down here for a better thing. But we didn't end up doing that. And this is the trade that we did get stopped out on. As you can see, we got entered. I became liquidity on this trade, as sometimes it will happen. So let's say if I protected this area down here. Oh, also one more thing. There was another gap as well. So if I simply just traded from the hourly gap instead of the 15-minute gap, it would have worked out nicely too. So as you can see, teeny tiny hourly gap right here. No, this is not very teeny tiny. It's quite large. I don't know if I'm talking about teeny tiny. There you go. Back to 1 minute. So as you can see, we get stopped out here and then we turn around, right? So now, if I wanted to take this correctly, I would have become exit liquidity on this too. So that would have been great. We got entered in the top, exited at the bottom. Would have been absolutely worst thing ever. So what was the next trade I was considering taking? Because now we've got another break of structure up. So now I'll mark it out, make you guys' lives easier. So as you can see, this was our last break of structure up. I'll explain why. Or was that it? Is this end of the week? Okay, so that's, as you can see, it's relatively equal. You can make equal work, right? And even if you don't want to make equal work, you can kind of say this is your last break of structure. And then, honestly, I like the equal more. I like the equal more because it's still a valid break. So this was technically a protected low because the lowest point between here and here is right here. You can see though, this ends on a wick. What about other time frames? 2 minute ends on a wick, 3 minute also wick. So I'm just going to assume that it ends on wicks for the remaining as well. Then you can see ends on a wick again, but then we break down here validly, and then ends on a wick. Let's check other time frames. 2 minute, and also there you go, 3 minute. It looks pretty good. So you can see this. Cool. So now after this point in time, I was already off the charts because I had taken my L for the day, and I also don't trade after 8:30. But this is when my A plus came up as well. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna be unfortunate. So all I really need to do, I need to wait for this area over here to break. As we can see, broke it. And then we just simply need to wait for any area of interest to form. There you go. We entered, I forward tested this area right here because you can see this 1 minute gap right there. And then I protected the overall low. Targeting just above New York highs for, what was this, 1 to 2? Yeah. And then I think this one happened to play out nicely. So as you can see, we get tapped in, come to retest a little bit further area down here, and then eventually we shoot up. So this was all before New York even happened. So this would have been a pretty decent trade. It would have taken an hour to play out, no issues whatsoever. But am I mad that I didn't follow my rules? No, not necessarily. I didn't end up taking the continuation play, even though it would have worked out. I followed my rules on this one. My stop loss could have been a little bit better. If I decided to just protect this overall low, I would have got stopped at regardless. So maybe I need to do a little bit more revision on this one. But yeah, and this one was pretty good trade too. Good trade to forward test because this is more of my A plus than this one was. Because 15 minute, look, I can use a 15 minute as a higher time frame area of interest, but hourly, 30 minute, 4 hour, they obviously work a little bit better. And this was obviously a little bit cleaner too. But I'm not too mad about this. This is just something I need to review in my own system. As you can see, this worked out perfectly. Continuation play worked out perfectly. And then the suboptimal trade I took down here kind of worked out perfectly too. So cool. If you want to be trading live with us in the group, I have a link in my bio, which I've also got, which you can join us to trade live. So yeah, guys, I will see you guys all next week. And we ended off the week on a break even. I just came back from holiday, so I'm not going to be too mad about this. I took a dub the day before, and I took an L here today. It's all good. No issues whatsoever. Come back next week as if I never left. I'll see you guys all then.